afternoon, and I hope everyone attending today is safe and well. And I'd like to welcome you all to What's New in AutoCAD 2022. As Dave mentioned, my name is Joseph Freund. I'm part of the tech team at Microsol Resources. So if you're a customer of Microsol Resources and you have any sort of issue, you reach out to tech support, there's a good chance that, that you'll reach me. So I look forward to that, and let's just get started with this presentation. So the agenda for this presentation, I'll start off with just covering some services and benefits that you'll get with a subscription to AutoCAD 2022. I'll also cover some of the more the recent features and enhancements that have been added since about 2016. So everything prior to 2022 that's been added that you may not be aware of. And then I'll cover the top new features and then kind of toggle back and forth between demonstrations and the presentation. We'll wrap it up in the end, and then if we have time, we'll cover any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions, feel free to just dump those into the chat, and we'll try and address those in the Q&A. Okay, so firstly, with the subscription to AutoCAD 2022, you get access to all of the specialized tool sets. And these allow designers to work with the tools specific to their trade, whether it is architecture, mechanical, MEP, electrical. There's mapping for GIS, Map 3D, Plant 3D for p&ID, as well as raster design, bringing rasterized or scanned images into CAD and then producing vectorized CAD drawings from that. So this is just a quick look at some of the productivity studies that they have done with these tool sets. With the architecture tool set, for instance, you can automate floor plans, sections, and elevations, and use your 3D model to generate elevations and sections without the need to project lines or construction lines from the floor plan. And this saves a lot of time, freeing up more time to focus on other valuable design decisions, other projects, or any other thing that that may help with your well-being. This tool set gives access to more than 8,000 intelligent architectural objects and styles with features designed specifically for architects. So in the studies they performed or they conducted for the architecture tool set, they saw a 61% productivity gain. So that can be very significant. There's also studies done for each one of these tool sets. So for the mechanical tool set, you'll see an overall productivity gain of 55%. And this is, you know, they did this study, and results may vary, you know, but I think what they were really trying to show with these studies is just how useful it can be to use the tools that are specific to the task at hand. Excuse me. So for a task that may take 100 hours with regular AutoCAD, they showed that you would have an overall productivity gain of 55%. So you would only require 45 hours to complete the same task with the mechanical tool set. With the electrical tool set, there was a huge productivity gain. You got 95%. You know, if you want features tailored to electrical design to help document electrical control systems, the electrical tool set is what you'll want to go with. You can have comprehensive project reports, including components, wires, and bill of materials, and have that automatically generated as you document your project. So 95%, that's a pretty big gain there. With the MEP tool set, you can see an 85% productivity gain there. So with this, you've got over 10,000 intelligent mechanical, electrical, and plumbing objects to aid in the draft design and documentation process. Yeah, all of these tool sets are tremendous. I recommend that if you have only been using AutoCAD, to just try these out. I think it will really help you save a lot of time. There may be a little bit of a learning curve, but it's still the same AutoCAD interface. It's just that a lot of the objects that you used before are already created for you, and you can apply styles and different things like that. So moving on. So subscription benefits, we covered the specialized tool sets. There's also this concept of AutoCAD Anywhere that they're introducing with AutoCAD. This was available in AutoCAD 2021, but they're really doubling down with some of the new features that are in 2022. So this is for both AutoCAD and AutoCAD LT subscriptions. You have access to the desktop, web, and mobile apps. So that is the web app is in the browser at AutoCAD web.autocad.com, and then the mobile apps are available for iOS and Android. So that'll be for iPads or your phones, and really anywhere with an internet connection, you would be able to use AutoCAD to review or edit any DWGs. So yeah, like I mentioned, there is the web app, which you can view in the browser at web.autocad.com. And if you've seen this before, if you've tried to use it maybe a couple years ago, I recommend trying to use it again. It is very slick. It doesn't have all of the functionality of AutoCAD, but it certainly has the most important commands that you may need, and it also includes blocks and XREFs. So you can have, if you have all of your blocks stored in one of the cloud storage providers, it makes it much easier to source all of your blocks from there. So very neat feature there. And then the mobile app, very useful for viewing or creating AutoCAD drawings. I think it's best for just viewing any drawings. Particularly in the field, or if you're just in a situation where it's not very easy to pull out your laptop or something like that, or maybe your laptop runs out of battery and you just need to review that last piece of the project. You can do so on your phone or iPad very easily here. So, and like I mentioned, there's cloud storage integrations within the web app, as well as the full desktop app. You can connect Box, OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox. And this just facilitates the whole document management process if you're already using one of these cloud storage solutions. So this sort of integration just makes management of all of your files and versioning much easier. And then now there is the release of Autodesk Docs, which is part of the new unified platform that Autodesk has. This is their third generation cloud platform, and Autodesk Docs is only available if you subscribe to AutoCAD through the Architecture, Engineering, and Construction collection. Alternatively, you can have access to Autodesk Docs if you have BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro. And one of the new features that I'll be covering today is specific to Autodesk Docs. And I think it's really slick. I wish it would have saved me many hours of my past life in using that function, because it's really condensed a lot of the automation down to just a couple clicks, and it makes sense. You know, some things are very good at being automated, others not so much, and this is one of the really good features that really alleviates a lot of the just managing of PDF files and things like that. There's also the Autodesk Drive, which is available in the web app, and you get 25 gigs of storage, so that's all very nice there. Now, in addition to those subscription benefits that I've already mentioned, you have technical support from Autodesk. And I'll just remind you again, any customers of Microsol Resources have free tech support through us. So feel free to reach out to us first if you have any sort of issue. We are pretty quick to respond. We try and get a response out within 15 minutes. So you have different options if you're running into any licensing issues or just unexpected behavior with any of the products. So it's a nice aspect of the subscription there. You also get access to all of the software updates that are available. And this is, I would say, most of the tech support cases that I field, one of the first things that I ask right off the bat is whether everything is fully updated, the licensing service, AutoCAD or Revit, and a lot of the times that will resolve the issue that they're having, either with the license manager is not functioning properly or something like that. It's usually that an update has been pushed out and has not been installed, so communication with the Autodesk servers isn't really working out as it should be. So checking that application is a good practice every once in a while. Also, there are flexible term lengths. You can have a subscription for a month up to a few years and anywhere in between. So if you have a need to have a more customizable term length to your subscription, feel free to work with our account executives, and we'll put a quote together that is appropriate for you. And finally, there are the administrative tools that come with the subscription. Now, anyone that is transitioning from network licenses to this named user subscription model, this will, I think, really alleviate a lot of the burden of managing that network license manager. So no need to VPN into the license server if users are having issues pulling a license. Everything is managed through the website, through the cloud. So you'd go to manage.autodesk.com, and then you can add and assign users very easily. You can also unassign users very easily in case that needs to happen, and all managed within the browser. So again, this whole idea of bringing all of these products to you wherever you are is very much the drive towards that a lot of these new features have, and that I think you'll find very useful for managing users and for the users themselves to have access to downloads and these updates. So all very nice features there. Now, before I proceed to all of the new features in 2022, I just want to cover some of these features that have been rolled out since I think some of these started in 2016 or so. So I think back in 2020 they rolled out the DWG Compare, which allowed you to compare two DWGs side by side. It would gray out everything that is the same between the two files, and then color code anything that is new or deleted in red or green. And just a very useful feature that is then used in different ways for the drawing history and XREF Compare as well, that were released in 2021, and that each of those allow you to so drawing history allows you to compare the current version of the drawing to any previous version of that same drawing. The only stipulation is that drawing needs to be saved on one of those cloud storage providers that has version control. So with version control, you pretty much have saved every version of the file that you've ever saved, so there's really no risk of overwriting. And with the drawing history, you're able to compare the content in two different drawings and then merge them accordingly. You can select all of the objects you want to bring into the most recent version and bring those in. Also, you can just compare two different versions of the drawing and roll back the design to a previous design. So all very useful features there. XREF Compare is similar, but it does and it shows you what's different based on the current XREF that is loaded and the reloaded XREF that's coming in. So you're able to quickly and easily review all of those changes. Some of the other features in here, you got PDF import, you've got working with point cloud data in here, off-screen selection. I've not really used that too much. I think that's limited to certain mice hardware that works, but for those that use it, they find it very useful. There's also that Autodesk desktop app that I mentioned. A great place to check out every once in a while to see if there are any updates, or if you're having issues, check for updates in the desktop app. And finally, there is that also released in 2021 was the extension for Visual Studio Code for AutoLisp. So if any of you write custom AutoLisp scripts for your startup routines or just general functionality that you have specific to the workflows within your company, then you can use Visual Studio Code for that, and it'll nicely color code all of your scripting and just have some useful hints there. So those are some of the newest features available in previous versions of AutoCAD. If you're not familiar with any of these and you want to learn more, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. If you just do a search for what's new AutoCAD, you'll see all of these nice videos that were previously posted up to YouTube, so you can get fully up to speed. And then for the rest of this presentation, I'll just focus on the new features in 2022. So starting out with, well, I'll just list all of these off. There's just 5 top main features, and they're all, I would say generally, AutoCAD is more efficient. It's faster. It makes use of the latest hardware to ensure that it's working well and quickly. But there's been a shift toward the cloud a little bit more here because of the idea of bringing AutoCAD to any working environment that you see yourself in, whether it's working from home, from the office, in the field, or if you're just in a place that is difficult to work on a laptop and you just have your phone, you'd be able to access AutoCAD from there. So there's a general shift towards that, where no matter where you are, as long as you have an internet connection, you should be able to access AutoCAD. So that's very neat. And just to list off some of these new features, we've got Trace, which is a markup tool that helps with collaboration. We've got Count, which basically aggregates all of the objects within your drawing, so you can quickly and easily see how many blocks of a certain type are in the drawing, things like that. I'll cover that in more detail once we get into the demonstrations. And then there is a share feature, which allows you to share a link with anyone, and they would be able to click that link and either be limited to only view that DWG, or they can view and edit that DWG. They would just need to send the DWG back to you with those markups or changes. There's also the push to Autodesk Docs, which I mentioned, which is only available, like I said, if you subscribe to the AEC collection or one of the either BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro, because that is all part of the new unified platform for the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And then finally, there is a floating windows feature, which pretty much allows you to undock any drawing that you have and position it within your window as you see fit. If you have multiple monitors, then you can have multiple drawings on multiple monitors. Something that's very nice that you'll see in the browser, with tabs, being able to just pull the tab off, snap it to one side or the other. So a lot of nice features here that you see elsewhere now being incorporated into AutoCAD. So yeah, like I said, we've got that trace feature. This works, traces are added only in the web app and mobile app. And this is mainly because the way that Autodesk is envisioning the collaboration is that the either the project manager or the job captain, they would review the DWG in the web app or the mobile app and add in their markups, not really as red lines, but as annotations or text to the drawing, but it's kind of in a separate, I don't want to use layer because it's not a layer. It's kind of a separate work set or working set. So it can be completely isolated from everything else in the drawing. And that way there's no risk of inadvertently altering the drawing by the project manager. And this will be very useful for any project managers or architects that are not too familiar with drafting or AutoCAD, but still want to engage in this process. And so this is by getting to know just this trace feature, then they can engage directly with these DWGs and help collaboration in that way. So to just demonstrate this this feature, let me just Alt-Tab over to my other computer here, and let me just pull up the AutoCAD web app here. So this is what the web app looks like, and I'll just toggle back and forth between AutoCAD 2022 here and the browser, just so that you can see that it's a very familiar sort of interface. You can see the ribbon up top within the desktop version, but generally you've got a very similar interface that we're working with here. And as you can see, you can add your cloud storage providers off to the left here. Right now I've got some files in Autodesk Drive. I've got one of my projects from Autodesk Docs already integrated into here, and that's actually where I'm going to go into project files and into architecture. And then I'm going to go down here and open up this X Floor 1 so that I can add some trace markups. So here we go. We're in the drawing here. As you can see, it's different than you know, the AutoCAD that you may have gotten used to within the desktop version, but still very still quite similar. You've got you don't have a ribbon, but you've got these little tabs down below here with drawing tools. You have annotations, so you can add in M leaders or M text or dimensions or revision clouds. So all very nice. And then you have these various modify tools here. So you can click on these buttons to activate that command. You also have the command line down below here. So if you're more of a command line power user, then that can be very useful there. You can also see I've got model space. I also have the layouts here as well. So it's really, it's a light version of AutoCAD, but it's a pretty strong light version here. You also have your layers set up top here, so that you can make sure you're on the right layer. You also have some navigation up in the upper right corner where you can save the file, you can print. You have some settings over here where you can change the settings within the app, and it will maintain those settings across your username here. Because as you can see, I'm signed in with my account here. You can also click on Open in Desktop if you have AutoCAD installed on this machine, and then you have that Share button up here, which is one of the features that I mentioned before. Once I get to that part of the presentation, I'll show you that feature within the desktop app. And just a little bit more to cover the web app here. We've got you know, OSNAP, OTrack, the ortho and polar tracking down below here, and so you can toggle all of those on or off. The final thing I just want to cover is the navigation pane off to the left here. You've got properties, layers, all listed here that you can manage. You've got blocks, so this is listing all of the blocks within the current drawing, but you can also have a block library that is stored on within this same cloud storage platform that you can source from. So all very nice and gives you that flexibility there. You can also attach XREFs. So right now it has this the property DWG loaded within here. I believe it's this right here. That's the XREF. So XREFs working in the browser, pretty mind-blowing when I first saw it. So pretty neat. Okay, and finally we're down to the traces tab here. So let's get started using this traces feature. So just to create a markup or a trace, you just click New Trace here, and it will enter this mode where it will create a blue box around all of model space, just to make it clear that you're adding either notes or geometry into the model space in this trace mode, just so that is perfectly clear. And then you can just begin adding notes in here. So I can, you know, have a revision cloud here where I just draw this right here. Okay, whoop, let's click that again. There we go. So a note added, and I can then add some sort of note here. As you can see, it gives me the option to select the text size here. I can add a note where I say, you know, change to single slider, something like that. I can click the checkbox there, and you know, maybe I can't see that too well, so I can select this, go to properties. Maybe I just want to change this to an annotative scale, and then I can modify the text height accordingly now. Maybe change that down to 6 or so. There we go. That's a little bit better. So as you can see, a little bit of functionality here that is similar to what you know and love in AutoCAD, but still fairly simple and straightforward. So hopefully the learning curve for any PMs or project architects that would be engaging or collaborating on the project in this way would be able to pick this up fairly quickly. So here we have that. Let's say I have created all of the markups I want to in here. I can go ahead and click Done, and it will commit that trace to the file. But as you can see, it's disappeared from model space, and this is all because it has been created within a separate mode. It's a different working set. So what I can do is go back to traces. I can see this trace that I created. If I click on that, it'll pull that trace mode up again, and I can see exactly what is in this mode. Something that I noticed just the other day is that if, let's say I try and select a block or any object while in the trace mode, and I try to delete it, for instance, it's going to try to delete it, but it recognizes that I'm in the trace mode, so it's not going to let me. But if you'll notice, I'll just click delete here. Right down here, it says one was not in the working set. So I just found that interesting, both working in AutoCAD and Revit, that they're using the term working set, because that's very similar to Revit's work set, which allows for multiple users to collaborate on the same file at once. They just check out the work set. So not sure if this working set is some indication of later functionality where there can be multiple users collaborating on a DWG authored in AutoCAD all at once. That could be something down the line. I would just keep your eye out for any new functionality there. So that's all very nice. So so that's really how the traces are added and committed to the drawing. If you want to rename that trace, you certainly can. Closet markup 1, something like that. And then this is all saved within the DWG, and then can be reviewed by the drafter and incorporated, and those changes incorporated accordingly. So so that was the trace command. Let me just save this drawing. And now I'm just going to switch over to the desktop version. And as you can see, this is well, no, that's not the file I had, sorry. Let's just, let's toggle this a bit and refresh, because it may indicate that, well, let's see, it's not showing that I have that open right now. It may just be that that it would show in the web app if I have this open. So let's go back to the web app. I'm just going to make sure that this finishes saving there. Okay, so that's finished saving. I'll go back. Okay, so it has some unsaved changes. Let's try to save that again. There we go. Okay, not sure what's going on there, but I'll just discard those changes there. All right, so if I go to the desktop app and open up that Xfloor 1, as you can see, it downloaded that file freshly from the from Autodesk Docs, and now within the desktop app, I can go to the Collaborate tab up in the ribbon, and now you can see I've got this button Traces palette. So I can pull that up and see any traces there. I'm not sure why exactly that those traces were not being committed within the browser there. I might just need to check my internet connection, but I'll move on here. So I'll go back to the presentation, and then let's check out the next feature here, the count feature. So this allows for the counting of blocks or different geometry within the drawing, something that you could do before with the data extraction command, but this sort of facilitates that, so you don't need to go through the whole process of exporting all of the objects within your drawing to then create a schedule that lists all of your blocks and objects that are there. So I'll just toggle back over to the desktop version of AutoCAD here. Let me just close this drawing, and now I'll open. Okay, now it's showing as locked, but this is good. It shows these drawings as locked when it's opened by somebody else, either in the web app or somewhere else. So there might just be some delay here that was causing that, but this file locking is a good feature to make sure that that there's no overwriting. But as I explained before, some of the features in drawing history can help with that too, in case that there are overwrites. So let me just open up this Villa project here from Autodesk. Okay, I'll just ignore the XREFs there. So we have this drawing of a villa here, and right now I want to show the features of the count or what the count feature can do. So this will be within the View tab within the desktop version of the app. As you can see, it's got this count button here. So this will pull up a count palette, and by default, it'll just show all of your blocks that are within the drawing. And as you can see, it does have a little caution symbol next to some of these. And if you click on that, it'll show you exactly why it's giving you a caution. In this case, it's just letting you know that this was a renamed block. So everything in green is really the block named 123A part :3. And this has been renamed in many other instances. It looks like it may have also been scaled a bit, but important piece, it was the same block, just renamed. So that's just letting you know what's going on there. There are also some, let's see, this is another renamed block, the 4-seater sofa. Now I think one of these may have an exploded block, because if it does recognize that one of these blocks had been exploded, then it will give you that sort of indication within here. So I think one of these is shown as an exploded block. My apologies for not having that ready to go. But I can, you know what, I can just take one of these and copy it. Yeah, let's copy it there. Do a little rotating, get it in a better position. Okay, there we go. Now let's just explode. Well, first let's see what the name of that block is. So I'll pull up the properties. So that is my 3-seater sofa. So that's right up, I think that's up near the top. So that's this one right here. So it's now showing 3 there. But if I go ahead and explode that block, you can see that it's all exploded geometry there. And now it brought this number down to 2. So if I click into that caution, I can see, okay, so this is my original block here. This is a renamed version of that same block, and then this is an exploded version of that block. So this can be good if you're creating schedules based on this count feature. Then you can make sure that everything is properly named, or all of the blocks are still blocks and they haven't been exploded, which would negate any sort of functionality for generating a schedule there. So that's all very nice. So if I go back to this list, I can have this this full list of blocks that are within the drawing. And if I click on this button here, it will allow me to select all of the blocks I want to create a schedule from. I'll just create one from all of them, go ahead and press insert, and then I would be able to just insert this as a table within model space or within the layout. So very nice to have that. And if I zoom in here, you can see how all of those are have the gray background, which indicates that it is a field that is connected there. So that's all very nice functionality. It works with blocks, but it can also work with regular objects here as well. So if I just have a piece of geometry selected, I can run the count command there, and then it'll look through the whole model and check and see, okay, where else does that sort of geometry appear? Or maybe one of these pieces was the original rectangle that was then copied to all of these different locations. And as you can see, you can insert the field count for all of those objects. You can cycle through all of the different objects that are in the drawing. So this blue bar shows up just to let you know that you're in the count mode there. If I run the count command for this, it'll show every location where that rectangle has been copied, which looks like, some places it's balusters, some places it's a garage door. So that's just showing some functionality of the count feature. Okay, and moving on, we've got the share feature, which allows you to share a link that is either view only or allows the recipient to edit that version of the model. So if I switch back to the drawing here, you can see that I've got this share button up top, so that would make it very quick and easy to create a link to that drawing. It'll just load up real quick, and you can choose whether that link is a view only or edit and save copy. And then this link, if copied, would then pull up the web app, and it should just automatically log in here because I'm signed in to the other tab, and it'll open up that drawing within the web app. So all very nice, and so that can be edited, and I think this is a good way to collaborate with clients. Just share the drawing very quickly with them. So that's up here in the share button there. Also in the collaborate, there's the share button. And just as a reminder, I'll just flash this in front of you again. The link is active for 7 days, so it'll expire after 7 days. Just something to keep in mind. Okay. So in addition to share, we have push to Autodesk Docs, which is a really neat feature, which allows you to, in one fell swoop, you're publishing the PDFs and dropping them into your Autodesk Docs project. So I'll just switch back to the drawing here again, and this is within the Collaborate tab up here. If I open up the Push to Autodesk Docs palette, you can see what options I have here. Right away, it's just selecting all of the layouts that I have in this drawing. I can add additional sheets. I can load a sheet list from a DST, or I can save this list of sheets as a DST. So that's all very nice. So let's say I'm ready to send this into to Docs. I want to publish a set because I want to issue this. I can just click Upload Sheets. It's going to connect with my account. I can select the project and the location that I want to save all of these files. I'll go ahead and press OK. Right away, you'll see in the lower right corner that I have the published job in progress, so I can go ahead and press OK. It's going to let me know when that's finished, but as that is okay, so the plot and published job is complete. So I'll just switch over to my Autodesk Docs page here. So for those of you that haven't used Autodesk Docs, this is the nice interface that we have here. I'll go to my folder, and as you can see, it's currently uploading all of these new versions. It's updating from V2 to V3. So all very nice automated functionality to control those versions. So at any time I can click on this and I can see every version, and I can make any previous version current or download the source file. It's all there, just managed in this automated process. So all very, very great functionality that I wish I had for many years. But so I hope some of you find that very useful. And finally, the last feature here out of all of the new features for AutoCAD 2022 is the floating windows. And this is for the desktop version of AutoCAD. And it allows you to, like I said before, similar to the tabs in the browser, being able to pull those off and snap them to one side or the other. You can do something very similar with AutoCAD. So let's see, I just have one project open here, so I'll go back to my start screen here. I'll open up that Xfloor 1 again, and great. Okay, so I've got this open. I'll just go ahead and close that. Let's just see if that yeah, the traces did come up, so it was able to save. I just wanted to check on that before we move any further. So there you can see I've got that. I can toggle this so that I can kind of work with what I'm seeing, or I can end the trace, so I can deal with those traces there. Anyway, to the floating windows functionality. I can go ahead and create a floating window by pulling, well, let's see here. Yeah, I just grab and pull that tab off of there. As you can see, it's created this floating window. I'll just close the traces palette there. And as you can see, I can snap that off to the side. It can fill up the full screen. I can fill up the entire screen just like that, but I can also view these couple windows side by side. So I can work in this way. I can pull this, well, I thought so. Yeah, there we go. So I can pull this off. I can work with these side by side. And this is kind of nice for those that are used to working with AutoCAD just in the command line, so they don't need the ribbon or the buttons up there. And so this can be a nice way to maximize model space within your monitors. Or you can, if you have multiple monitors, you can have these full screen on each monitor. So all very nice functionality there. So we've got floating windows. I think we covered all of these new features. Let me just go back to the presentation here. So it's just a quick review of these new features. You've got trace, where you can add markups to the drawing without altering it. And these markups are added either in the mobile or web version of AutoCAD. There is count, where you can view quantities of the blocks or any sort of object within your DWG, and then you can create schedules, tables according to that are live linked to those quantities. You can also share the DWG securely as a link that will expire in 7 days. And that link will open the web version so it can be viewed or edited by the recipient. You can also push to Autodesk Docs, which, one more reminder, you need the AEC collection or BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro in order to use. So it's a very slick feature, and I think the cloud system is very robust, and seems to be the way that everything is moving, and is crucial. All of the cloud storage solutions are crucial to having access to all of these design files from anywhere you may be. And finally, there is that floating windows feature, where you can have multiple windows side by side and work a little more flexibly between your multiple screens. So just to wrap it up, we covered the AutoCAD, including the specialized tool set functionality. You can save a bunch of time by using the tool set that is specific to your trade. So if you haven't tried that out, and if you have access to it, I definitely recommend trying that out. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on the tech team. And yeah, there's this greater push for mobility and having access to the project files from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. And yeah, with some of these new features that make that process of working with the cloud storage much easier, and being able to manage all of the design files. Like when I published those PDFs, I didn't need to save the PDF on my local machine and then upload them separately. It was just a one button, just select where it's going to go, and all of the automation takes it from there. So all very nice. Now at the bottom here, I have a link to the blog post that I just wrote on what's new in AutoCAD 2022. There are links there to our YouTube channel with previous videos, so go ahead and check that out.